Well guys, it finally happened. Roy finally captured Rayquaza. For real this time, because yes, he technically captured it back in episode 82. But that was more of a symbolic capture. It wasn't his own Poké Ball, it was Lucius's ancient Poké Ball, and Lucius was still around, so Rayquaza still had a trainer. Back then, it felt more like Roy had reached the point where Rayquaza acknowledged him enough to allow itself to be caught. But this time, it's different. Roy uses his own Pokeball and Lucius is no longer around. Rayquaza is a wild Pokemon. After everything Roy has been through, this is the true payoff to the dream he has been chasing since the beginning. At the same time though, this episode immediately handles this capture in classic Pokemon anime fashion. Yes, Roy officially catches Rayquaza, but Rayquaza also immediately leaves. So Roy is its trainer now, but he doesn't actually travel with it or have access to it whenever he wants. And honestly, this is exactly what I expected. The Pokemon anime has always been hesitant to let main characters truly own legendary Pokemon. Goh, for example, caught Suicune. Yes, it was an official capture, but the Suicune kept roaming the world. It's the same here. Roy caught Rayquaza, but it's a capture that exists more in name than in practice. I'm honestly torn on how to feel about this. Part of me is happy because Roy absolutely earned this. He has grown so much and this is a huge accomplishment for him. But another part of me still has trouble accepting it because the anime has conditioned me to see legendary Pokemon as being outside the reach of main characters. Pagogo was and is acceptable because it's treated like an adorable companion that occasionally becomes very important to the plot. Rayquaza is another story. It's massive, powerful, intimidating, and one of the most iconic legendary Pokemon ever. It feels like too much for a main character to have. Hence why I'm okay with Horizons going, yes, he caught it, but not really. Though this does undermine the accomplishment a bit. That said, while I'm a little mixed on the capture itself, the battle leading up to it is undoubtedly very good. Now yes, my expectations were probably way too high. This is Roy's final battle with Rayquaza, a legendary Pokemon and the Pokemon he's been chasing for so long, and it's a team battle where he and Ult throw everything they have at it. So naturally, I expected absolute cinema. One of the best battles in Horizons. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite reach such a level, but it's still an amazing battle with lots of fantastic moments. Kilowattrel and the Sableye flying together while dodging Dragon Pulse looks fast, slick, and really energetic. You feel the scale of this massive dragon attacking these much smaller opponents as they dart around it. Kilowattrel landing Supercell Slam is great because you can feel the impact of the hit. Even Rayquaza reacts like it genuinely hurt. Mega Lucario and Mega Dragonite attacking together with Flash Cannon and Hyper Beam is simply spectacular. And Lucario running along Rayquaza's body to deliver a powerful uppercut is one of the cleanest, coolest, and most epic moments in the episode. Lucario protecting Dragonite from Draco Meteor is also amazing. Excellent teamwork and superbly intense. And I love that Ult once again uses his head by having Dragonite use Twister to absorb an attack and send it back like he did in episode 125. I'm once again reminded of Ash's Dragonite, more so this time because Draco Meteor is involved. I'm glad that after Ult regressed in episode 127, something I criticized, this episode has him return to his improved self. But the real star of the battle is Skeledirge. Using the indent in the rock wall to amplify Disarming Voice is such a clever strategy, and it looks fantastic. I also love it because back when Fuecoco first learned the Disarming Voice, I said that it would probably end up being an important and powerful weapon against Rayquaza someday, and here it ends up landing one of the strongest hits Rayquaza takes in the entire battle. And then there's the final clash. Skeledirge using Stomping Tantrum to plant himself firmly in place and withstand Dragon Ascent is incredible, simply breathtaking. He literally stops Rayquaza with his bare hands, tanking one of the most powerful moves Rayquaza has, and then he pushes it back like wow, and incinerates it at close range with a Terrasto-boosted flamethrower. This is exactly how you end a battle like this. It's epic, cinematic, and it shows just how far Roy and the Skeledirge have come. So even if the battle doesn't quite reach the lofty heights I expected and hoped for, when it's firing on all cylinders, it's still absolutely a sight to behold. The battle also works because it shows how much Roy and Ult have grown. Roy especially, since we can compare this directly to his previous battles with Rayquaza. But Ult showcases his growth as both a trainer and a person. He battles well, making some clever plays and displaying excellent teamwork. He doesn't make it to the very end, yes, but that's because he has Dragonite sacrifice itself to save Skeledirge, which says a lot about Ult's growth as a person. Catching Rayquaza was always Roy's dream. Ult just kind of jumped onto it, partly as a rival and partly because he wanted to prove himself. But when it matters most, Ult doesn't sabotage Roy or put his own chance at victory first. He makes the selfless choice. He has Dragonite save Skeledirge and leaves the rest to Roy. He gives up his own shot so Roy can fulfill the dream that has been his from the start. This is big for a character who has often come across as selfish, brash, and obsessed with proving he's the best. And the episode doesn't pretend that this means nothing to him like he does. He cries so clearly it does hurt. Even if Rayquaza was never truly his dream, giving up his chance still matters to him. But this is exactly why it works. He chooses to do the right thing even though it costs him something. Maybe it's his way of accepting that Roy is the one who should win this battle, and or that Roy is stronger, more deserving. Maybe he realizes that the best thing he can do is help Roy finish what he started. Either way, massive respect for Ult. Speaking of Ult, this episode also continues teasing his father. Episode 127 already hinted at a connection between him and Hassel. Now we get even more information, including his name, Salt. He is a member of the Dragon Tamer clan, a famous underground explorer, and someone who also has a Dragonite in a Dusk Ball. We still don't know everything about him and his face is kept hidden, but two teases makes it feel inevitable that Liko and the others will meet him eventually. I don't know why the anime is being so mysterious about Ult's dad, but it's definitely making me curious. Also, I have to say that Salt reminds me of Byron. He has a shovel, a cape, specializes in digging and exploring underground, and even has a somewhat similar silhouette. I don't think there's actually a connection here since Byron is a Steel-type specialist and Salt is tied to the Dragon Clan and has a Dragonite, but the resemblance is fun enough to point out. I'm also glad Team Dragon Rampage returned. They weren't the deepest characters back in episode 96, but they had a charm, and I figured we would see them again since they ended up watching over Rayquaza. Their reaction to Ult having a Dragonite is hilarious, especially because they already didn't like him, and now they can't believe such a noble dragon Pokemon is actually his partner. They also work well as the audience for the battle, constantly reacting to Roy and Ult's performance and reinforcing how impressive it is that they can battle Rayquaza so well. They are also still hilarious with funny reactions and their Ginyu Force style entrance. They are also the ones who provide more information on Ult's dad. Their role is minor, but it still matters and they are entertaining. Finally, there's Freed's briefcase. We finally learn what's inside, and it turns out I was right. It's a meteorite which Rayquaza eats to recover its strength. I came to this conclusion because I've expected Rayquaza to Mega Evolve ever since Mega Voltage began, and the Pokemon Evolutions had a Rayquaza do so after eating a meteorite. I did hope we would see Mega Rayquaza in this episode, but we didn't. I still fully believe that we will eventually though, most likely during the final battle, which is understandable, right? This episode simply sets the stage for it. So, overall, this was an amazing episode. I'm still a little mixed on Roy catching Rayquaza and its departure, but the battle itself was just excellent, truly incredible, with tons of fantastic moments. Ult showcased some really meaningful growth with his admirable selflessness, and the episode gave us the ultimate payoff to Roy's journey while still setting up what comes next wonderfully. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, feel free to click the links on screen. And if you'd like to support the channel and help me keep making content like this, you can find all the ways to do so in the description and in the pinned comment. Whether it's through a small donation or just watching and sharing, every bit of support means the world to me. Thank you so very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.